So, without further ado, I'm going to kick things off. So, my name is Mandy Phillips. I am passionate about all different kinds of things, but one of my recent passions over the last couple of years has been around death and dying. And the reason for that is that I've been studying psychotherapy and different things, and I understand that a lot of the issues that people present with when they walk into a therapist's room are all about loss. And death is such a taboo. So I want to ask you a quick question. Who here has thought about their own death? Oh, that's good. Who here is scared of dying? Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that because I want to reach my full potential in life, and I want everyone else to, I want us to be able to live vigorously and beautifully in the moment. And the only way that we can do that is to not be scared of what's going to happen at the end. So why is it important? Grief is a natural part of our lives. As babies, we grieve for the comfort of the womb. We grieve as children when we lose a pet or a mum and dad. And it doesn't only relate to death, but a loss of identity too. So I'd like you to just read this. Peaceful death is really an essential human right, more essential perhaps even than the right to vote. Okay, so we're going to take a moment, 30 seconds in fact, and think about the worst possible scenario for your death. Still thinking. Well done, Dan. Okay, so you've thought about that worst possible scenario. Now I'd like to ask you a second question, and I'm expecting that slide to flip over anytime soon. So what is the best possible scenario for your death? So flip that over. If you could have any death you wanted, what would that look like? Okay, I think we've lost the countdown timer. It's okay, don't worry, Dan, don't worry, it's a lot of pressure. Okay, so we've got the worst possible, we've got the best possible. I want you to think about that best possible scenario for your death and to think about the conditions that you need to create your best death. What do you need to put in place that's not already in place to have your best death? And we'll just take 15 seconds. If this is a speed workshop, 15 seconds to have a think about that. So I'm going to take a guess that you will need to have conversations with people around you. You'll need to write your wishes down. You need to put in place all the documents to think about organ donation, that type of thing. And your next of kin, will they carry out your wishes? The context of this is that what I want to do is get into conversation around this. If you're given a terminal diagnosis at the GP or consultant, you're left to walk out of that building with no emotional or spiritual support. The role of the undertaker in the olden days were community members who would undertake to get rid of the bodies because it was a public health issue. This was a community issue. Now, it's a £4 billion business, £4 billion in 1 year. And the funeral planning industry alone is worth £3 billion. Money sitting there. There's no funding for bereavement or grief counselling, and there's little or no mental health provision for complex grief. So we've got this big pot of money for the death, but nothing for the dying or the after effects. And I want to do something about that. So locally, the council is obliged to undertake to cremate people who have no families or no families willing to pay. These people are cremated, they're put in an unmarked grave, and there's no commitment from family or friends. They're not allowed to be present. There's no therapeutic value, there's no ceremony, no ritual for these people. So what I'm asking you to do is put your own house in order, talk to your loved ones about this, and if you're struggling with grief, go to a death cafe, try and get some help around these things. And what Soulful Send-Off can do, which is the community interest company that I founded this year, is help with that, it's putting on grief clubs. We can offer doula services. A doula is Greek for a servant, people who sit with the dying. We can help you arrange your funeral, so it's not going to cost £4,500, which is the national average. And we can offer grief counselling. So I'm trying to put some services out there that cover that whole umbrella of dying, death, and actually living again. And I'd just like to leave you with this thought. Life is not a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a well-preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, thoroughly worn out, and enjoying the ride. Thank you.